feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign.
The girl who never knocked but was always home. Jeon, Jungkook, and the love that lived in silence. In the dazzling world of K-pop, filled with vibrant stages, roaring concerts, and perfect faces behind the cameras, there is a space that was never lit. A quiet corner, dim and untouched, never open to anyone. Except on one night, when Jungkook decided to let the world peek inside, through a single image. A sketch. Black and white. A wooden door half open. No caption. No announcement. Just one small line written in the bottom right corner. To the one who never knocked, but was always home. The world fell silent. Armies shivered. Not because the drawing was beautiful, but because its meaning shook the soul. This wasn't a promotion. Not an album teaser. This was a fragment of a heart finally brave enough to be placed on paper. Because if you followed Jungkook long enough, you'd know, someone was always there, even if never named. Not on screen. Not explicitly in lyrics. But always felt, between silent verses, between breaths, in the trembling of a voice that no music theory could explain. In every ballad he sang, there was always a part that felt like he was calling a name. But that name was never spoken. Only whispered quietly, as if that love was too sacred to be touched by the world. In a late-night live stream, lit only by a bedside lamp and an untouched cup of tea, Jungkook softly said, "I once loved someone who never came, but she also never left." His eyes didn't face the camera. As if he was talking to someone still lingering on the other side of the room. Someone only he could see. "I don't write songs to be known. I write to keep her alive in the only place that doesn't hurt me, music." Armies wept. Not because they knew who she was, but because they too had someone like that, who never stayed, never belonged, but never truly left. Fans began calling her, the girl behind the curtain. Someone invisible, yet always present. Some speculated she was a childhood friend. Others believed she had passed away, a soul who once saved Jungkook from his darkest days. Some, more boldly, believed she wasn't real at all, but a manifestation of loss itself. Yet what was clear, she was real to Jungkook. Because ever since then, in every concert, every song, every glance Jungkook cast toward the ceiling, there was something that felt like a prayer. Like an unanswered question. At his solo concert in Tokyo, an unknown song was suddenly played without introduction. Its title, "The Door I Never Closed." There was no studio version. No official release. Just Jungkook's voice and a piano that sounded like a whispered wound. In one verse he sang, "I still leave a light. For you who didn't come home. I keep the sound of your footsteps. In the corridor of dreams I never closed." Fan-recorded videos from that night became digital treasure. Armies kept every breath, every trembling note. Because they knew, this wasn't just a song. It was a piece of his soul, finally slipping out from its hiding place. Soon after, Big Hit launched an exhibition titled Echoes of You, not a promotion but an art installation. Inside, visitors didn't just see Jungkook memorabilia. They heard his heartbeat. His whispers while writing lyrics. The breaths that never made it into the studio. At the end of the room, a large white screen displayed one sentence. "Have you ever loved someone so deeply you couldn't even say their name?" Many sat. Many cried. Some couldn't stand until staff gently ushered them out. Because the space wasn't just an exhibit, it was the wall of Jungkook's heart. And for the first time we were allowed to touch it. In a rare interview with a Japanese magazine, Jungkook finally spoke again. "There are people who never come back. But they also never really leave. And music is the only way I can keep them alive without hurting." When asked, if you could speak to her one more time, what would you say? He answered simply, "That seat is still empty. I still leave it open at my concerts. For her." And since then, at every Jungkook concert, there's always one empty seat in the front row. Adorned with white paper flowers. Surrounded by soft rope. No one sits there. But everyone knows that seat is full. Full of love. Full of loss. When Still With You begins, the entire audience lifts heart-shaped cards. Inside them, a sentence that has become a collective mantra. "You may not be in our world, but you live in his songs." And when the concert ends, Jungkook doesn't go backstage right away. He walks toward the empty seat, bows his head, closes his eyes, and smiles just a little, like someone who can finally say, "See, I sang it. Just like you asked. Time passes. Songs change. Generations come and go. But the story doesn't die. Because as long as the song is still playing, as long as the heart can still feel the loss, then love will keep singing, softly, deeply, but surely. Jungkook may never have spoken her name, but the world has named her. The song that never ends. Some stories don't end with punctuation. They simply continue, like piano notes left hanging in the air. Unfinished. Unrestarted. Just trembling quietly inside hearts that were never asked to understand, but still feel everything. Ever since that empty seat appeared at his concerts, many things began to change. Not just on stage, but in the way the world saw Jungkook. He was no longer just an idol. He had become a silent guardian of a love too sacred to speak aloud. He sang like someone writing letters, not to be read but to be remembered. One night, a fan captured something unusual. After the encore had ended, when the lights were nearly off and the music had faded, Jungkook walked to the edge of the stage and whispered something barely audible. "If you can still hear me, I haven't stopped writing for you." Not everyone heard it. But those who did never forgot. And that's when new rumors emerged, that Jungkook had been writing a series of secret songs. Not for albums. Not for release. But for a pair of ears that may no longer be in this world. He referred to them in one hidden journal entry as the silent set list. For songs. For seasons. For memories that were never shared. Fans began searching for them. They dissected old demos, live streams, even unfinished lyrics that were never made public. And in the middle of that search, they found a lost snippet of a song with a title that made their hearts stop. The Light Beneath the Door. There was no official version. But the snippet once played faintly in the background of a studio vlog. Jungkook's voice was heavy, cracked, yet beautiful. "I see your shadow. In the light that slips beneath the door. And I pretend. You're still just one step away." It wasn't just a song. It was a breath. A piece of soul wrapped in trembling notes. Then, a short documentary by Big Hit was quietly released, its title simple, "For Her." The world finally saw a small glimpse of the love that had only ever been guessed at. In one scene, Jungkook sits alone in a studio. No music. Just the sound of a chair sliding and his voice saying, "I don't know if she was real, but if she was, I hope she knows that all of this wasn't for the world. It was for her." No name was spoken. No photo was shown. But that was enough. Behind the scenes, a crew member whispered to the cameraman. "He always writes letters after concerts, but never sends them. Those letters are still kept. Sealed. Dated. But never addressed. Some fans believe they'll be opened one day. At the end of a tour. At the end of his life. Or maybe never. And perhaps that's how it should be. Because some love isn't meant to be consumed. Some feelings can only survive if they're left in silence." Since that documentary, the ARMY community launched a new project, Letters for the Unsent. They write letters to the ones who never came back. To the people they never truly had. To the stories that were never finished. They hang them on trees, at parks, at bus stops, even around BTS concert venues. And among all those trees, a photo appeared mysteriously, Jungkook sitting beneath one of them, holding a small piece of blue paper. Head bowed. No official camera. No announcement. Just one caption from an anonymous account. He cried. But it was a peaceful cry. After that, Jungkook never spoke about it again. But he didn't need to. Because ever since then we all knew he was still writing. Still holding. Still singing. Not for the charts. Not for the world. But for her. The one who may be gone. The one who may have only existed in memory. But the one who, in every song, still comes home. To be continued. See you in the next video, where love doesn't always need to be explained. Sometimes it only needs to be felt. And if you listen with your heart, you'll know she's still there. Purple Heart, see you in the next story, ARMY.